Hey friends, it's Corey from Hey Let's Make Stuff. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the biggest trends when it comes to making products to sell on Etsy and in craft fairs coming into the holiday season for 2025. I did this last year for 2024 and you guys all seem to love it, so let's check out what is still trending along with some of the new trends we're seeing this year. Before we get into everything, I do want to remind you not to rely on trends. The problem with trends is that they are here and then they are gone. So if you are running a business, find ways to incorporate trends into what you're doing while maintaining the heart of your product. You don't want to stop doing everything you're doing to hop onto a trend because who knows how long that trend is going to last. You want to make sure that you're making something that is sustainable and adding in trends where it makes sense for your particular business. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of photos as I go through here, and you're going to notice a lot of overlap. There is a lot of overlap in this year's trends. So for example, one of the trends we're seeing is patches, and you're going to see geese on patches because geese are trending and patches are trending. So there's going to be a lot of overlap in these photos, but it should give you a great idea about some trends that you might be able to add to your products for this holiday season. Number one, if there is any overarching word that I would ascribe to this year's trends, it is the word cozy. Even the word cozy is trending. So if you can combine cozy with all of the other trends I'm going to share here, you'll probably have a hit on your hands. This isn't this sort of hygge, sort of simplicity, minimalist sort of coziness that we've been seeing the last few years. This is like maximalist coziest. We're talking like more pillows than you know what to do with, big fluffy sweatshirts, just everything that's sort of big and cozy and warm, and it's gonna make you feel all good on the inside. Saying that, let's go into number two, which is stamps. And I'm not talking like ink stamps, I'm talking postage stamps. Postage stamps are super trendy in art right now. I am seeing this trend just about everywhere. I've seen it both in the research that I've done on Etsy, I've seen it in all of the sort of department stores that I go to. It really is very hot. So I think if you can figure out how to incorporate stamps into some of your designs, that would be a really big hit for you this year. Number three combines sort of the coquette, hyper girly aesthetic that we've been seeing last year and this sort of stamp thing that I was just talking about. And this is sort of doodle frames. I'm not really sure what else to call this, but these are hand-drawn frames, usually around hand-drawn images. So we're not talking about like actual picture frames, we're talking about using these sort of doodle frames within your artwork. Whether again, you are creating stickers or t-shirts or whatever, this is just one of those things I'm seeing everywhere. That same coquette aesthetic that we've been seeing over the last few years has taken bows to like another level. Bows are everywhere. And this year we're adding in that maximalist vibe that I was talking about in the beginning, and we are making the bows enormous. So we are getting really big striped bows this year. The ones I found are mostly two color, white and another color, but I've also seen in other places that aren't Etsy like big, bold, colorful stripes. Maybe instead of having an angel at the top of the tree or a star at the top of the tree, you have a giant bow. We're basically taking this coquette style and we are making it bigger, and that is going to be a theme of some of the things we're going to talk about in this video. Number five is patches. So patches started to trend last year, but I feel like they are really picking up steam this year, and I have a feeling they're going to continue for the next couple of years. So all of the trends that we're talking about, just like you could do them in stamps, you could do them in patches. You could do them in patches of stamps. So again, maybe we have a goose and it's on a stamp and you turn that into a patch. Again, these are all going to be overlapping a lot, but this sort of patch aesthetic, whether it's chenille or just the traditional embroidery, people are putting these all over sweatshirts, tote bags, jean jackets. They're kind of like the new pin. So pins were really trendy for a long time. Now it's patches. One of my favorite brands, Ninja Transfers, actually has ninja patches. So if you're looking at getting custom patches made of your artwork, I would check out there first. I do have a video about this planned. However, it's probably not going to be until the new year. Right after patches, we have patchwork, which is totally different than patches, but you know, sounds the same. Patchwork, we're talking like vintage quilts. We're talking about crazy quilts where people just would put together like little bits of fabric and create a whole quilt out of it. We're seeing a lot of this in design these days. A lot of it is sort of AI slop, if I'm being honest, but there are some really great artists who are taking it and creating it on their own and creating this sort of a very cool aesthetic. All of this ties into Kitschmas, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, which has this vintage retro aesthetic. Another thing I'm seeing a lot of is charms. Now, I think we all think about charms on a charm bracelet or a necklace, which those are trending as well, but you can also find iPhone charms and Kindle charms and backpack charms. Everything from clay to acrylic to metal, all of these different things where people can show off their personality in these small, inexpensive ways. So if you have something that you can turn into a charm, I feel like this could be a really big hit for you. Number 8, I kind of have mentioned in regards to other things, but we are in our maximalist era. So it has been sort of this minimalist era for a while, right? Sad beige mom. We've been doing a lot of very simple things, which honestly, I like a lot of that, but it's like we're having a reaction to that, and now everything is big and bold and colorful. And it's not just that, it's also warm. It really does feel very lived in, and it feels very bold, but it does feel very inviting. So I'm not really sure how you should necessarily include this specifically into your designs unless you do make something like home decor. However, you can incorporate it into your prints, maybe into your stickers, like make it something that really feels bold and modern and fun. Number 9 is dark academia. So I am a big reader and I love dark academia books. So these are books that are usually set in magical schools of some kind. I love this vibe. So for this, you're thinking classic old libraries, Gothic fonts, but we're going to make it maximalist. So we're going to kind of go all the way into it. We're going to like really embrace these sort of dark academic vibes, sort of like you're in a library, but make it very, very broody. This is not necessarily going to appeal to everybody, but it is going to appeal to those bookish people who really like this vibe. And then number 10, like I said before, we have this coquette aesthetic, which has been very, very popular for the last few years, where we're talking about this sort of hyper girly thing, right? Where it's very pink, very red, it has disco balls and it has bows and it is just really, really girly. Now we're taking that and we're making it maximalist, right? So we're taking that and we are making it bold and fun and big. As opposed to those sort of delicate styles we were having before, we are taking bows and we're making them huge. We are taking disco balls and we're making them huge. We are using brighter pinks and brighter reds. So all of this is that same coquette style, but it has been taken to another level. I mentioned number 11 before, and that is Kitschmas. So this is all of the things that maybe your grandmother had, or maybe your great-grandmother, or maybe your mom, I'm not sure how old you are, but it is all of those kitschy things maybe from the 50s that you can remember being around at Christmas. So maybe that is a full tinsel tree, retro glass ornaments, vintage Santas, those little glass reindeer, those ceramic trees, all of these things that are sort of kitschy for Christmas, those are still going really hard. And then on the opposite end of the Kitschmas spectrum, I am starting to see things for Gothmas. So Gothmas is basically a dark sort of Halloween type Christmas. If you are just not into all the bold, vibrant, kitschy colors that we are talking about, Gothmas might be for you. So for this one, you're thinking like black or other really dark, rich velvets. You're thinking intricate lace and sort of antique bronze, those sorts of things. This is sort of if you combine like dark academia and Halloween and Christmas with a little bit of Day of the Dead, you may get something that looks like Gothmas. Again, this is not for everyone, but for those people it is for, they are gonna enjoy the heck out of it. Then as far as like sort of particulars at Christmas go, I think gingerbread and gingerbread houses is going to be really big this year. I saw it a little bit last year, but if you go into Etsy or basically anywhere right now, gingerbread men everywhere. Those little gingerbread houses everywhere. Think icing and sugar and candy. Some of this could even like trend in the coquette direction as well. I think that gingerbread is definitely going to be trending this year. And then on the opposite end of any of these spectrums, I'm not even sure at this point what the spectrum looks like, we have grunge. Grunge is making a comeback. A lot of the stuff from the 90s is making a comeback. And this for me is coming out a lot in grunge textures. So in a lot of the graphic design we're seeing for sublimation designs, DTF prints, those sorts of things, they have sort of a grunge filter applied to them or a grunge texture applied to them so that you get this sort of rough look on your garments. This is not something that you can do with like a cutting machine, right? You could not cut something like this really easily with a cutting machine. This takes a slightly higher level transfer to be able to do. And this has just been on shirts that I've seen so far, but I have a feeling we might be seeing this move into other products as well. Finally, I have 3 trending animals for you. So I mentioned geese before. Geese are this year's ghosts. So ghosts, very hot last year, still can be kind of hot this year, but not quite like geese. unless you make them into ghosts. There are also geese ghosts that have been going around here for Halloween, and I have a feeling we'll still see some of that at Christmas, but geese are everywhere. Just a silly little goose has been a phrase that I have seen on everything. I think it is adorable. It also has this sort of chaotic energy that I like. I don't know if anybody here has played the Untitled Goose Game, which is basically where you get to be a goose and run around and cause havoc. It's really, really fun. But this goose thing has that sort of chaotic energy. And I think it's really fun, and I think people are embracing the geese, and I like it. Now, geese probably belong more in that coquette and maximalist side that I've been talking about. And then on the other side, we have crows. Crows are also really big, especially in dark academia. You have Edgar Allan Poe and his Raven, right? So we're seeing crows in stickers and artwork and apparel and block prints and all sorts of really interesting things. I think people are kind of understanding more and more that crows are actually incredibly smart, and I feel like a lot of people are starting to relate to them, bringing them little gifts, and they'll bring you gifts, those sorts of things. I feel like crows are going to be really trendy, probably for the next year or two, because they're just starting to take off. Geese have been around since before Halloween, but I'm just starting to see some more crow stuff just in the last, I don't know, month and a half. So this one might be a risk, but I do feel like it has the chance to take off. Pun not intended. And then finally, number 17 is one you're never gonna guess. It's sardines. Sardines have been around since summer, and I do think we're gonna see them through the holiday season this year. It's another thing that feels kind of kitschy. It feels a little retro, those little tins with the really pretty designs on them. I feel like we're going to be seeing sardines probably through this holiday season, and so if you can magically seem to work up some way to use sardines in your products, I think you could actually do pretty well with them. So those are my 17 trending products and themes. Let me know if I missed something. Down in the comments, let me know if you're seeing something that I missed. I would also love to know if you are planning on incorporating any of these trends into your work this holiday season. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a like. Follow my channel for more crafty content. I'll see you next time.